Hello all. This episode's gonna be a little different. It's not a part of any Let's Play. It's just something that I've been meaning to do for a long, long time and haven't been doing. Now, ooh, that's a quick turn there. Anyway, so Fallout Off the Record it's over, unfortunately. I was pretty devastated when I heard it. It's been about a month now since it's been over. First of all, I want to say there's no hard feelings. I understand as we get older, we get new jobs, hopefully. We get new internships for new jobs we want, hopefully. We find success and all of that, all those good things that we want to find. However, I do know that for a lot of people this meant the end of something that was pretty special to a lot of us, to all of us, hopefully. And I just want to talk about what that meant to me. I want to talk about what the podcast meant to me, what Rick and Shalene meant to me, and what it's done for my life and what role it's played. Now, I want to start off at the beginning. When I first heard about this, it was right after I first understood what a podcast was. I didn't know what a podcast was at all. I'd heard of it, but I didn't really know if it was like free. Is there, do you have to pay for anything? But once I figured out what it was, I went on iTunes and I saw what I wanted to find. I didn't find a whole lot of podcasts that I wanted to listen to. I don't really care about Joe Rogan. I don't really care about new science discoveries or anything else that's popular in the iTunes podcast store. So I just searched for a lot of different things that I was interested in. Video games, Fallout, Skyrim, and I found a few different podcasts. One of which is a podcast that I noticed only had, I think, 2 entries or 2 uploads. One was episode 0 and one was episode 1, and this was Fallout Off the Record. And I figured since there was only 2 uploads that they had either quit or that they just, didn't do it that much and weren't going to be uploading. Little did I realize that I had just caught Fallout Off the Record just in time, just after it just started. So I want to explain what time in my life this occurred as well. So when I first discovered Fallout Off the Record, I had just quit my job and started a new job. My family owns a small business, and I just started this business. Now this business is kind of a scary one because you can't really ever take a day off. If you ever need a day off, you have to train someone and hire them and then pay them. And a lot of times there's no one to train. No one wants to do it. It's kind of hard work. How in the world did I just get thrown off? I have no clue how I just got thrown off. None at all. Which is interesting because that's not the first time that's happened to me. In fact, a few times I'll just get thrown off the road, seemingly out of nowhere. I didn't hit the right or left buttons, but somehow I'm getting thrown to the right or left. I have no clue how that works out. If anyone else knows how that works out, you put that in the comment section, because it's something I've always wondered about this game. Why the game will just seemingly just throw you right off the road for no apparent reason, and then you end up because that cuts into the experience and to the money you gain at the end of the mission. Anyway, back to Fallout Off the Record. So I just started this business. It was kind of scary. Every day was really difficult. Every day was kind of a struggle. Really, really stressful, and it was taking a while at first because although it doesn't take a while now, my day is pretty quick now. At first, you don't know what you're doing, so it takes a while. So I was looking for something to help me get through the day, help me calm down, and I fell upon podcasts, specifically Fallout Off the Record. And sure enough, they upload it every week. I loved Rick, I loved Shalene, I still do, I follow them on Twitter. They seem great people, but in addition to that, I really enjoyed, I just making this video to tell you how much I've enjoyed your podcast over the last year or so, a little more than a year. And I was pretty devastated when Rick announced that he was going to be leaving for completely understandable reasons. Mind you, I have no problem with him leaving. I was kind of hoping Shalene would find someone else to do the podcast with. I think we all were, but everyone has their reasons. I'm not bitter or angry about this. I'm making a video mainly to thank you guys for the podcast over the last year or so. I really appreciate it. This podcast has brought so much. It wasn't like I wasn't interested in Fallout lore, but I was interested when I started listening to the podcast. I really enjoyed, how Rick is the knight and Shalene is the scribe, and I really enjoyed the dynamic that they had in that way, or that you guys had in that way. I enjoyed being excited about the new edition of a podcast episode every week. I believe for me it was uploaded on Monday morning, which is the start of a new week. So the start of the new week is stressful for me, and then at the start of that I was able to alleviate some of it with listening to the podcast. Now, I'm sure I'm not the only person who has a story like that. I know, I believe even Shalene said that the podcast helped helped her in some tough times, and I think anything you enjoy does help you through a tough time, and for me, this was it. I was starting a new chapter in my life, very scary, very frightening, a very sinking feeling of never having another vacation or a day off ever again, and although I do have some time off here and there, but I was able to alleviate some of that stress by listening to the podcast, and truthfully, I was never able to watch the podcast being recorded on Twitch or on YouTube, because I work late. I mean like early in the morning, so I'm never able to stay up that late, watching any streams anymore. I really, unfortunately, one of the things about my job, I really can't watch things late at night or do really anything late at night anymore. But I am able to listen to podcasts, and that is where Follow Off the Record came in handy. And I could ramble on and on and on about how much this meant to me and how happy I am that this was in my life, but just that, I am happy that Follow Off the Record came into my life. And I'm not bitter that it's over. It is kind of bittersweet, but I'm glad that it happened. I'm glad that, this happened in my life, that I was able to find this podcast and enjoy it all the way through and until the end. And I just want to use this opportunity to thank Rick, thank Shalene, and thank the network, because I also discovered the network, Quest Gaming Network, through them as well. I had no idea that existed until I started watching. But I want to thank Quest Gaming Network, I want to thank Rick and Shalene, and I want to thank everybody who made the podcast possible, because me, along with so many, really enjoyed this, and it really was a big part of my life for the entirety of the podcast. So thank you, Rick, thank you, Shalene, and good luck in your future endeavors. And I will be watching Shalene on Twitch when I can. So thanks, you guys. I really appreciate everything. Oh, and one more thing. I'm going to add this at the end. I always wanted to send in an email, like an email to the show, and have it be read on the show. But I never did. I never had the balls to do it. I was always so shy and timid about everything. And by the time I built up the courage to do it, Rick was announcing that the show was going to end, so I never got to do that. So this is kind of my way, my email to the show, if you will, although it's not an email, it's a YouTube video. But I also want to thank you guys for something that is probably most important of all. You guys, the show, just listening to it made me realize that I should build up the courage to start my own channel and do my own thing. It's something I've always wanted to do. It's something I've always been so scared of doing. I've always used a whole bunch of different excuses as to why I shouldn't do it. I'm not good enough. I don't have a very good voice. I have kind of a high-pitched voice, being that I am a girl, so I do have a higher-pitched voice. I don't have good recording software. I don't have a good computer. I don't have a good microphone. But then I kind of got all of those things and still found a way to not upload anyway. But after it ended, it kind of triggered something in me and made me realize, I really should just start uploading gameplay. I really should just start doing this. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be amazing. My voice doesn't have to be buttery smooth like the voice actor you had on a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago, the guy who voiced Mercer Frey, I forget his name. But you don't have to be perfect to start uploading content of your own. You don't have to be perfect to do the things that you've always wanted to do. And that's something that really is notable that this show has brought to my life. It helped instill some courage to help me do my own thing. So once again, thank you, Rick. Thank you, Shalene. And this is what Fallout Off the Record has meant to me.